How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Not really a whole lot going on right now in the gaming community. There's a little bit of drama happening, right? We won't get into it here. Maybe for another day. But I've been busy myself. Lots going on. I had some contractors in a couple of days ago, and they were actually putting some new siding on the front of the house. So yeah, big expense there, and then I've got some other stuff going on the property here, doing some renovations, some repairs. So it is what it is. When you're a homeowner, you can't let things neglect too much. You want to try to not necessarily renovate, but fix what you can and maintain what you can, because it's a property or a house is a lot like a car. If you buy it and then you just drive it and you don't take it in once in a while to get it checked out, or even your body for that example, it's going to deteriorate. So yeah, so what I wanted to talk about today, because there is nothing going on and I haven't put out a video in quite a while, and I just so happen to have a little bit of time tonight, I wanted to talk about CG's top 10 dating tips for the retro porn community. So without further ado, before we get started, let me have a sip of wine. Booze in Ontario has gone up. A liter and a half of wine, a cheap bottle, which would usually be about $15.95 Canadian, is now all of a sudden $20. So you have to just sort of enjoy every sip. Don't drink it too fast. So yeah, top 10 dating tips for the retro gaming community. So, I thought I would put this out there. I'm no spring chicken. I've been around the block. I've dated many of women, more than I can even count. So I've got some experience with this stuff, as I'm also a retro gamer as well. I think there's a lot of youngsters out there, or maybe younger generation, if I may say so myself, that watches this channel, hopefully, and they could maybe benefit from some of these tips. These are some things that I've made mistakes on in my dating career, and you're not going to learn unless you make mistakes. So I want to share these with you guys, for God's sakes. So where do we even begin? Let's start at number 10. Don't talk about video games on your first date. Guys, I can't stress this enough, okay? You meet a chick wherever it is online, is usually how it goes these days. And let's say you guys meet at a restaurant for a drink, right? Break the ice, have a drink. The first thing that comes out of your mouth is gonna be, how's the weather? Where do you work? What do you do for a living? How's it going? Have you had much luck dating yourself? Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're not going to be like, oh, just out of curiosity, do you have a PS5 in your living room? Guys, most women are not into video games. And we'll touch base on this a little bit further on the list. But that doesn't mean they can't warm up to it. But the last thing you want to do is jump out of the gate talking about video games. Turn this off just in case there's a focusing issue. The last thing you want to do is talk about video games on a first date. Okay, that's a total turn off. You want to make a girl run, okay, and leave you with the bill? Talk about video games on your first date. So that's a no-no. You do not talk about video games on your first date, okay? Not when you haven't even met the girl yet. Number 9, keep the door closed. So I can't stress this enough. If you have your own place, now this is a tough one because a lot of you younger guys probably have an apartment. You're lucky if it's a 2-bedroom apartment. It might even just be a 1-bedroom apartment. I can't even imagine having a retro video game collection in a 1-bedroom apartment. But let's say you're in a position like me where you're a homeowner, or maybe you purchased your first home and you've got a games room in your house. Keep the door closed. They don't need to see that right away, okay? If they ask what's in there, Tell them you've got work supplies, okay? Make up anything. Sporting equipment, dead bodies, whatever be the case. Do not leave the door open so that when they go to use the washroom, they walk by it and they're, oh my God, what is this? Keep the door closed, okay? When the time comes, and you'll know when the time comes, when they're ready to see it, you know, when you're at that point in the relationship, open the door. But for the time being, keep the door closed. Number 8, gaming apparel is an absolute no-no, okay? So, you're going on a date with a chick, okay? And you show up wearing a Gears of War t-shirt, okay? Or a Sonic the Hedgehog hat. Or you're wearing something else, like, I don't know, Skyrim wristbands, okay? A Pokemon backpack. No, you guys, no. You can be a retro gamer and not necessarily look the part, okay? I feel like I'm living proof of that, even though I'm wearing this shirt today. You do not have to geek out and wear video game apparel, okay? If you do, that's your own business. I'm telling you right now, do not wear video game apparel on a first date, okay? That's gonna send them running, okay? You want to get fucking laid? Don't show up wearing a Gears of War's t-shirt, okay? Sorry, Gears of War. Because they're gonna fucking freak out and they're gonna run away. Number 7, lie about your hobbies. So, you know, you're on a date and that always comes up in conversation. You know, what are your hobbies? Guys, do whatever you have to lie, okay? Hockey. I don't know. Collecting cards, reading books, going for walks, nature trails. Maybe collecting cards is not a good one. Hiking, whitewater rafting, skiing, fishing, kayaking, wakeboarding. Don't talk about video games as being one of your hobbies, guys. Don't make that mistake, okay? That's right up there with like a toenail collection, okay? Seriously, guys. Don't bring that up on a first date. Number 6, only talk about your true passion for gaming after you've had sex. So, obviously you're dating, and the goal is to get laid, right? And maybe meet somebody who you can have a relationship with, okay? If you feel like you've met somebody who's truly special, okay? Wait until after you've cleared all the bases, guys. Wait until after you've hit a home run, okay? And then when you're lying there after you've had your magic moment, then you can roll over and be like, hey, by the way, I've got a game collection. Because at that point, if she gets scared and runs away, oh well, right? But don't fucking bring that shit up before you've had sex, guys. Come on now. Use your fucking head. Think, McFly, think. Oh my God. That's self-explanatory. I shouldn't even have to bring that up. Number 5, don't force your hobby onto them, okay? Most women aren't into games. I talked about this before on the channel. They're not into it. I've tried this before. I've tried to force, hey, do you want to play couch co-op? Do you want to play the Nintendo Wii? They don't want anything to do with it. Okay, you can lightly offer to play a game. Most games aren't even couch co-op anymore, okay? Last of Us, RDR2, all these first-person shooters. They're not going to be into that shit. So you can lightly, at best, you can dig out the Wii if you've got one, and you can see if they want to play it. But if they don't want to play it, don't force it on them, because it's like anything else in life. The more you try to force something onto somebody, the more they're going to tell you to fuck off. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're when they're over at your house, excuse me, and the game console's in the entertainment unit, and you feel like gaming. Ask them lightly, and if they say they're not interested, then leave it at that. Number 4, start slow with regards to gaming. So what I mean by that, maybe introduce them to like an arcade. Go out to an arcade in the city or a retro arcade. Play some Skeeter Ball. Play some stuff at the arcade that's not necessarily video game related. Air hockey. See how receptive they are to that. If they're not into it, then that's your answer right there. They're not going to be into video games. If you take them to the arcade, and she's like, "Holy shit, Wild Gunman," or she's she's like, "Oh man, Terminator," or she's really into the arcade games, then you've planted the seed, and maybe she would be interested in, your hobby of gaming. But maybe take them to the arcade first. They don't need to know what you're doing, but in reality, you're doing a bit of an investigation, right? You're doing a little bit of work right now. You're trying to plant the seed. You're trying to, while she's at the arcade, you're actually observing her to see if she's picking up on certain cues, right? So that's a real good option for you. Take them to like a neutral zone, like an arcade, and see if they're into it. If they're not into it, then they're probably not going to be into it when they come over to your house, right? Number 3, this one's pretty self-explanatory. When you go out on a date, hygiene, and that goes with brush your teeth, comb your hair. Do people comb their hair anymore? Just put some gel in there. Wipe your face down with facial cream, clean your face, cut your nails. Take a Q-tip to your ears, take the earwax out. Maybe pluck a few eyebrows, your nose hairs. Floss your teeth, put deodorant on. For God's sakes, put some half-decent cologne on, okay? If you have to go with Swiss Army, that's fine. I can forgive you for that. That's a staple up here in Canada. But for God's sakes, just because you're a retro gamer, it doesn't mean you have to neglect your hygiene. Even though stereotypically we like to think that, because we've seen it before, folks. We've seen the retro gamer with the cheesy puff stains on their shirt, and the greasy hair that they don't cut, massively obese. So yeah, hygiene is key. Again, like I talked about before, just because you're into gaming, it doesn't mean you have to look the part. Don't fall into that stereotype, guys. Don't sell yourself short. Okay, go out and buy the teeth whitening kit. Okay, go out running once in a while. Get in the best shape that you can. Because you want to make sure that, when you meet these women out there, that you're not only turning them on with your mind, but they're being attracted to you sexually. If they're not going to want anything to do with you guys. You're not going to get laid, and ultimately they're not going to want to play video games or come over to your house or have an open mind with regards to your hobby if you get that far into a relationship. So number 2, don't invite her over to your place on a first date. Yeah, that is key. That is absolutely key. So if you're on a first date and things are going really well, okay, and you land a kiss, maybe some other stuff is going on, see if she will invite you over to her place, okay? Don't invite her over to your place, because if she sees the game collection, like I said, maybe she has to use the washroom. Maybe you guys went for a drink before coming back to your place and she has to use the washroom. If she even gets a whiff of those retro video games in one of your rooms before you guys have even gotten your weasel wet, you're fucked. So yeah, see if you can go over to her place first, and then maybe later on after a couple of dates, bring her back to your lair and show her what it's all about. Now, I did have an honorable mention here. I forgot to put it on the list, but for God's sakes, guys, buy yourself a fucking car, okay? There's nothing screams more loser than showing up to a date just after you got off the bus or you got out of the Uber or the taxi and you don't have a car. That's embarrassing, guys. You have to have a car, okay? You have to be able to drive these chicks around, okay? They can't be driving you around. You fucking crazy? You imagine you go out on a date. You show up and she's driving an ML 320 or a 3 Series or a Mini Cooper or something. And you fucking show up and you tell her you don't have a car. She's going to be like, what the fuck? Everybody's got a car these days. So, yeah, if you don't have a car, forget about dating. Worry about getting a car first. And then after you get your wheels, then start dating, okay? I'm sorry, guys. I have to call it like I see it. So, right at the 15-minute mark, the last thing is, if all else fails, guys, lie like a fucking rug. Don't tell them you're a gamer. Don't tell them you're into retro gaming. Don't tell them you have a hobby. Don't tell them that you live stream. Don't tell them that you play Fortnite. Don't tell them that you play first-person shooters, because it's all about getting laid. And you're not going to get laid if you tell them that you're a gamer, because what do I keep telling you guys? Women are not into video games, okay? Jesus Christ, do I have to spell it out to you? Oh my God. So these have been CG's top 10 dating tips for the retro porn community. I hope you guys all learned a little something here. And that's going to do it for this video. Anyways, guys, until next time, happy trails. Thanks so much for watching. You people are wonderful and beautiful, and you take care. Excuse me, I got to go get laid.